Peace, blessings, salutations. Yurima Karama here with another segment, Real Life, Real Talk. These are the days of our lives. So I had some pretty interesting conversations here in the last 24 hours that I wanted to kind of share because I think we have moments to build, and I think that certain things we need to really come to the table and talk about. So I'm with a group of sisters last night, black women, the most educated in the country, and I'm not saying that facetiously. I'm saying that dead seriously. The statistics show that. But in any case, we're having a conversation, and the sisters were talking about how black men, specifically black men in the state of Columbus or in the city of Columbus, Ohio, don't talk. They don't acknowledge them. They don't talk to them, and it's like, and I mean, at first, initially in the conversation, I was like, I'm listening, but then some real truths were revealed that this is like a real problem. Like, we don't, as a group, there's such a disconnect and a divide between us as a group. And it's really so sad. And these sisters, I mean, they were going in and specifically talking about, specific situations where, like, even in certain cities, there is more conversation than in this particular city, Columbus. And they pinpointed certain moments. They pinpointed even certain times where, like, they were up close and personal with individuals, and it was like, they could not get no conversation from black men. And they said that white men will speak to them, will acknowledge them, but black men won't. And I'm the type, I'm going to acknowledge queens, period, because that's just who I am. But at the same time, this is something that I think that, and we had a dialogue last night, but this is something that I think we need to take a look at as a group, because there is definitely a disconnection, and there has to be communication between both of us, because at the end of the day, no matter the interracial relationship statistics and all of that, at the end of the day, the bottom line is the majority of black men and women are still going to be in relationships. The majority. There's going to be a small minority that are in interracial relationships. So that means that we have to communicate and connect with one another. It's imperative. And then at the end of the day, there is no us without each other. It's just not going to happen. So I wanted to put that out there, because I think that again, teaching moments, man, we're trying to build communities. We're trying to, our village has been weakened. So I think that we have to sit down. We have to find moments to sit down at the table and talk. We have to have discussion boards. We have to have think tanks. We have to sit down and discuss these issues. Now, so I got a friend out in California, and his son, and this kind of leads into the white guy that was just convicted of rape, and they said, no, don't. His parents were pleading no because of his college degree, and he's a swimmer and all of this. His life would be ruined. He can't stand it. And so my partner, his son has been accused of a false rape. They've done DNA testing and all of that. Well, they've thrown this kid in with, I mean, he's 18, but they've thrown him in with some of the worst of the worst. And didn't care nothing about the fact that, he might not be able to stand this, didn't care nothing about his age, threw him in there on a false statement, didn't really do any investigation. So now they're doing the DNA testing, coming to find out that, it's a possibility she could have been lying. But here's the bottom line. This same scenario happens far too often, specifically in our communities. Happens far too often. If you're poor in this country, you really have no voice. You can't even get in front of a judge talking about, well, Your Honor, he can't stand it. It really wasn't rape. You don't get that. Poor people, we don't get that kind of voice. And if you're poor and black, it's even worse. So here's the thing. We have to save our children, man. We have to save our children by being in their lives and teaching them these lessons. It's imperative. Because at the end of the day, nobody else is going to give them this. Nobody. That has been proven time and time again. So if you're expecting the public school system to protect your child, you're starting off on the wrong foot already. It's not going to happen. If you're expecting some government entity to come in and save them, this is what's going to happen. If you're expecting that, what they're going to do is they're going to try to make your child a robot. That's what they will do. Now, what they won't do is save your child. They won't protect your child. They won't do any of that. But they are in the business of making robots. So, specifically, men, black men, whether you're a father, whether you have children or you don't, if you do, you definitely need to be there and play a role. And some of this is going to take you having to read some books. Some of this is going to take you having to do some investigation. Some of this is going to have to take you opening your eyes and your mind to some real truths. Those truths being that everybody is not for us, man. Those truths being that the prison industrial complex was designed with us in mind to fill it. Those truths are racism is alive and real in this country. Those truths being that in order to fill your child with some knowledge, in order to save your child, you're going to have a knowledge base in order to do that. And you're not going to get that from Love and Hip Hop. You're not going to get that, black woman, from Scandal. Olivia Pope is not going to save our children. So with that said, there are some steps. And the reason I put this post like I did in the writing is because it takes both of us. It's going to have to take both of us. I specifically said black men at first because we have to step up. We have to step up. It's long overdue, but we have to step up. And especially we have to instill in our seeds, our children, the importance of building a knowledge base. They are brilliant. Let me tell you, they are brilliant. I work with them. I work with middle schoolers in some schools, and our children have brilliant minds. All they need is love, attention, and time. Forget the Michael Jordans, forget the Game Boys and all of that. They need love, attention, and time. Time is so important. So when you take on that responsibility, if you have a child, that means you have taken on that responsibility that you're willing to give a large portion of your time in order to save that child. So we have to sit down. If we have to have parenting classes, then we need to do that by any means necessary in order to save our children, because they are trying to put them in that pipeline to prison. And it's real. Private prisons are making billions upon billions upon billions of dollars per year. And they're trying to, their thing is to fill beds. And I think that we can tell the dynamics in this country when we have a guy like Trump, who comes out and clearly makes racist statements, clearly talks about people like a dog, and has the support that he has. That says a lot about the demographics of the country in which we live. And it also should be telling us that we need to be on point. And we need to give our seeds, our children, what they deserve. And even if you don't have children, you still have children, because we're in dire straits. So everybody, each one teach one. So if you don't have one, adopt one. Go to a Boys and Girls Club. Go to a Parks and Recreation. Go to a youth bill. Go to an urban league. But get out there. Go to a public school and adopt. But it's imperative. Our children need us. Our children need us. It's the situation is dire. And one thing, I'm not here to pump fear into anybody. I just you know me. I speak truth to power. I tell it like it is. Don't really care who likes it and who doesn't. But there are truths that we have to come face to face with. And sometimes those truths deal with us taking a look in the mirror and saying, you know what? There are some things that I need to do. I have to get me right first. But we need to do that in a particularly quick fashion because our children, they're not getting any younger. They're growing up. And so I just wanted to put that out there, man. My name is Yurima Karama. Hit my webpage, www.yurimakarama.com. Look at that for booking information, messaging, and you can see where my performance dates and locations are. Also, yes, I said both men and women, black men and black women. It's important, so important for us to communicate. We have to start communicating. Black men, step up, hold some doors. It's not a chump move. It's not because you're thirsty. Hold a door open for a queen, man. Do that. Acknowledge a queen. Hey, queen, how you doing? You know, you're looking great today. I hope your spirit's on fire, and I hope that if your day is starting out bad, that I just made it better. I mean, we have to start talking and communicating, building that dialogue, building those bridges. We got at the end of the day. So again, hit me, network with me. You can always inbox me for information. You can inbox me if you want to talk, if you have an issue, if you got something you want me to talk about, cool. But let's do this. It's not all for naught. And at the end of the day, this is a spiritual journey that we can get through because we're a spiritual people. So with that said, Yurima Karama, peace, blessings, salutations. I'm about to get out here and have a spiritual journey around this track. I'm about to get it in, clear my mind. I've been going through some things too. So, people, we go through things. You know what I'm saying? It's the cycle of life. We go through things. We have our ups and downs, but we have to try to keep that spiritual balance, and we have to give time where it's deserved, and that's our seeds. So peace, blessings, salutations. I'm out. One.